I remember, I don't know which season it was. It must have been like there was that summer where you guys had the exodus of the veterans, right? Godin left. Um,
Yeah,
Name your backline for me. Felipe Luis left. Who else left from that
they
backline?
won from
Juan Fran, that's right.
one.
So I remember like the season after, you guys were still incredible defensively, and I remember like asking you like, "This is crazy. How is this possible?" It's a testament to Simeone's tactical identity that you can lose 3 to 4 absolute pillars and legends um, in the defensive line and still, from a statistical standpoint, be the best defensive team in Spain and one of like the top 2 to 3 in all of Europe. Now you fast forward a little bit, so now we're in 2021, and I'm just wondering, like, has the charm of like the Hermosos, the Savages? Savage seems to be pretty good in time I see him, but uh, has and also Jimenez's injuries, that's been, I'm sure, frustrating for you guys. Does it still kind of hold up to you guys, or do you feel like the honeymoon phase with some of those defenders is over? Like, where are we from a defensive standpoint, Atletico Madrid 2021? Do you still feel like you're at an elite level?
No, I don't. And for pretty much the entire calendar year, Atletico have been pretty average to below average defensively. Part of what's been going on this year is down to the form of a couple guys. Jan Oblak has seen his form dip just a little bit, but that's been enough to see the team ship loads of goals relative to previous seasons. So Oblak isn't saving the day quite as often as we have gotten used to seeing in the past. We've had injuries back there. Jose Jimenez is currently out, but expected to be back Sunday. Felipe and Stefan Savic have both had injuries and suspensions during this season. Savic only played one game in the Champions League group stage, owing to a suspension he got last season when we played Chelsea. Mario Hermoso has been available for pretty much every game, but it's a roller coaster watching Hermoso. As good as he is on the ball defensively in one-on-one duels, he's pretty weak. He's given away a couple very silly, daft penalties this season in the Champions League against Liverpool and Porto just a couple days ago. So he's a really inconsistent one-on-one defender, but he's great with the ball at his feet. So those things combined, along with the squad being pretty imbalanced, we have more forwards available than center backs. It's a bunch of little things that have coalesced into, we're conceding a goal a game, 2 goals a game at this point. So it's been really weird and unsettling to see Atletico ship this many goals and kind of take 1 step forward, 2 steps back in terms of developing a new identity. On a podcast, on our podcast the other day with Robbie Dunn into the Calderon, we talked about Atletico's identity and this inability to really see where it's going from one game to the next. On one hand, it's made the team kind of fun to watch. It's made games pretty unpredictable, but on the other, it's confusing and a little weird and frustrating to figure out what this team is going to do on a given day against a given opponent. So yeah, defensively, the bloom is certainly off that rose. We've seen Atletico's struggles continue on that end of the pitch, dating back to the second half of last season.
So would you say that that's more of like, you mentioned a lot of the injuries, you mentioned some of the problems and stuff. From a philosophy standpoint, and this maybe ties into also the return of Griezmann, trying to fit in a lot of these attacking pieces. Obviously, we haven't seen much rotation in the attacking front. Luis Suarez picked up an injury against Porto. Cunha came in, who maybe that was a blessing for you guys, just in the sense that no one wants to see anyone get injured, but just the fact that Cunha seems to bring something different to Atletico's offense, a little bit more spring, a little bit more. There was one play after, I think it was only 1-0 at that point, where Cunha has a break and he single-handedly he dribbles past Pepe, then the second defender, then he has that chip that is cleared off the line. I just have trouble seeing Suarez at this stage of his career do something like that with that much flair, with that much speed. So from a Real Madrid standpoint, I would rather face Luis Suarez at this point of his career than I would Cunha, and we saw Suarez was a complete ghost in one of the derbies last season. So there's that. But how much of this defensive drop off is also from a philosophy shift, maybe like trying to fit these attacking pieces in? So far, maybe João Felix and Griezmann haven't had a lot of time together, so we don't really know what that looks like. But is there also just are Atleti playing a different? Are they playing a little bit higher up the pitch? Are they leaving more space behind the wing backs? Like, what's going on there as well?
Yeah, philosophically, it's different, and it's very rare to find examples of a coach that has changed his identity or his team's philosophy in such a radical manner during his same stint with that club, and that's what Cholo Simeone is trying to do. We saw it a couple of years ago when Atletico began this rebuild, this transition of sorts from the old guard. Just some bad luck in front of goal, and that had us outside the top four for most of the year. Last season, we had a bit of overperformance, but there were genuine tactical steps forward that we took. The formation change, more players closer to the box, playing higher up the pitch, trying to win the ball higher up the pitch. This year, it's like we're kind of caught between the two eras. It's hasn't been consistently applied. The idea of high pressure, the idea of wanting to take the game to opponents and playing a dynamic attacking style, it hasn't been consistent. It hasn't always been there. It's very difficult to uproot an entire philosophy that got Atletico to where they are now and just radically change it. And that's kind of where we're caught right now. I mean, the results kind of show it, right? Where Atletico are in La Liga, where they were in the Champions League, how they escaped that group is still, I don't know how they did it. They found a way. Yeah, the Suarez injury is an interesting case too, because we've had this debate on my show throughout the season. Do Atletico have a Luis Suarez problem? And if so, how do they solve it, given that guy has so much experience and Gerard has so much standing? He's a legend of the game. How do you move forward in a team that is probably honestly better without Suarez in it, because he can't really move anymore? He leads the team in goals, but he can't move. It's kind of difficult to play that style when Suarez just doesn't run anymore. Cunha is different in that he runs behind. He actively looks to exploit the spaces in between center backs and behind defense in the defensive line. That's what makes him dangerous, and that's why I think he's going to get a start Sunday. He's been playing really well lately. He offers something different than the other complement of forwards that we have. He's been legitimately pretty good whenever he's played. And it's that unpredictable, like that Brazilian flair, that change of pace that he's got that really makes a difference to our attack. Whenever he's out there, we score a bunch of goals when he's on the pitch. Part of that is because when he's on the pitch, we're usually chasing the game and we have to institute some kind of chaos to get back into things. But he's been legitimately in a vacuum, legitimately good.
There's actually a lot of questions I'd like to ask you, but we're running out of time here. I guess we'll wrap with this. Can you just, like, what's going on with Trippier? Do we know when he's back? Like, what's the timeline on him?
Hopefully this weekend. He's been training fully the past week. Okay. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll be in the squad this weekend.
You think that means he'll come off the bench?
Likely, yeah. Llorente is likely going to get the start at right back / right wing back. Yeah, he suffered a nasty shoulder injury against Valencia last month before the international break. Sprained his AC joint. So he's ramped it up in training. He's back training with the squad. So it's a matter of time before he re-enters the team.